Hello, I'm Ben Bauer.
And I'm Tucker Jones. And using our combined years of skill and knowledge that we've both gained through search and rescue and from the FEMA program, CERT,
as well as in the Central Aid Agency's Rapid Response Team and my training as an EMT basic.
We're here to teach you folks a couple skills that just may save your life one day out here in the great outdoors. So everyone, time to dust off that table, grab your bag,
because this is Survival Guide.
Yeah, I got the snow chain for you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Hey folks, as you can see, we got a little winter down here today, so we decided that we're going to call you guys up and give you some special tips and tricks on how to survive out here. We're going to be talking about lots of stuff today, including how to put on the old snow tires. So everyone, grab a pencil. It's time for Winter Wonderland 101.
Now, one of the most important pieces of winter survival is knowing how to put chains on your rig. We're coming up here to do some filming today and determined that we can't get up this road even with four-wheel drive. So we're going to go ahead and put the chains on our car here. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, of course, most chains are going to be different, but this is a pretty typical set that you can buy at any vehicle automotive store. What you want to do is you want to get out of the bag, make sure it's untangled, find the connector point here, unconnect it. Really important to make sure these don't get tangled, or putting them on is going to be very difficult. Alright, so now that I've got my chains untangled, I'm ready to start putting them around the tire. According to the instructions, the yellow mark section goes around the tire first. So now what you're going to do, once you have this wrapped around the back side of the tire, pull these up, connect these two bits together like that. Make sure this is secure on the tire. Next step is you find this little red connector piece and you connect that to this chain link here, like so. And you bring this back around behind the tire. All right. So once you have the chains on the tire, the last step is to get this red chain and this little red piece here, and then you feed the chain through the red piece, and this is going to help you cinch up the overall tension on your tire. And you want to get this as tight as you can now. So that looks like it's about as good as we're going to get. There's these little red loops. This feeds through each one of those red loops. And then you gotta find a way to, there we go. Now we're gonna have to go ahead and move the vehicle to finish tightening up the chains. So we're gonna go do that now. All right, now that we've moved the vehicle forward, go ahead and cinch these up as much as you can. And then run this across, hook it on there. I'll go around to the other side.
Hey there folks, so in this section of the episode we decided that we're going to talk to you about what you should probably carry in your vehicle. Now for us two, we take that to a whole new meaning.
There's lots of essential pieces of equipment you should carry in your car anytime you go out, especially if you go out in the winter time. One of the most important things to have on hand is a little tool set.
Ah, found it.
Like mine, for example, sits in this little pouch. That way, if I have a flat tire and I need to change tires, or if I have a minor breakdown, I have tools to work with and I'm not just stuck. Some other important items you want to carry with you are extra clothes, which I carry in this backpack, extra water, food also in this backpack, and medical supplies, because you never know what you might encounter out there and you want to be prepared. A sleeping bag or sleeping blankets or pillows are also good to carry, because if you have to end up spending the night in your car, you don't want to be cold and you want to be comfortable enough to sleep. These are jumper cables, also very important to have in case you need to be jumped or in case you have to jump someone else. A set of chains, which we talked about earlier. These are always good to have because even in the summertime, if you end up in mountain regions where there still may be snow, you want to have these in case you get in a situation where you need to put them on.
Ready to dig. A shovel is also a great thing to have on hand. It can help you get out of a jam really quickly, especially if you're stuck. Or sometimes if you find other drivers stuck, you can help them get out of a jam. You can also help dig yourself a little trench in the snow later on, but we'll explain that in a minute.
Alright, I think we're ready to hit the road.
Yep. There's one last thing we wanted to tell you. Always remember, whenever you're traveling out on the road, you always want to have plenty of extra food and water wherever you're going. It could just be a short drive down to probably your local grocery store or a very long drive all the way to the coast. Doesn't matter where you're headed, always remember food and water. You don't know how long you're going to be out there or how long it's going to take for someone to find you if you do get stuck.
It pays to be prepared.
Let's go.
Alright. Now we're going to talk a little bit about driving in the ice and snow. We've got our chains on. I've got a 4-wheel drive and I have it in 4. So we're going to drive up the road here and I'm going to talk about how tips and tricks for making sure you don't lose control and what to do if you do. So we're going to start up the hill. And the important thing is on ice and snow or anything with low traction is you want to do things gradually. You don't want to just hit the gas or the brakes because that causes you to lose traction. Just gradual and controlled. You can hear the chains rattling around back there. So you notice I'm not pulsing the throttle. I'm just riding it very smoothly. That's what you want to do. And if you do happen to break loose, make sure to keep the tires pointed the direction you want to go. So a lot of people, they get started sliding and they'll try to turn into the slide or turn into the way you're going, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep your tires aligned with the road to maintain that control. See how we were going sideways there for a little bit? Now stopping can be very difficult, especially if there's not hardly any traction. You don't want to stop suddenly, and in most situations you can't stop suddenly. Now we're going to test the traction here, and I am going to try stopping suddenly. We're going to see what happens. So because this is a gravel road and we have chains, we actually have enough traction to stop pretty good. But if this were solid ice, we would just keep sliding. And a lot of vehicles do have anti-lock brakes, but if you don't, once you get your wheels locked up, you're not going to have any control at all. So if you want to stop, just glide to a stop, gently apply the brakes over a greater distance until you come to a complete stop. So remember that when you're driving with other drivers, you can't stop fast. So you're going to want to keep plenty of distance to give you enough room to stop before running into them or to an obstacle. The most important thing is stay calm, keep everything under control, don't do anything quickly, keep all of your maneuvering and all of your controls slow and calm, because it's when you start doing rapid pulses, that's when you're going to lose control. I'm going to see if I can get this thing sliding so I can show you. Now I'm fortunate with my Nissan Xterra, it tends to really grip the road even in nasty conditions. But if you drive a little city car, you're going to want to be careful out on roads like this because the snow here in the center can actually build up enough to cause you to high center. And once you high center, then your wheels won't be able to grab onto anything and you'll be stuck. So vehicles with high ground clearance and four-wheel drive are the best way to go. Pickups are good, but because there's no weight in the beds, they tend to want to spin out if you're not careful. But I know a lot of guys that drive really big pickups and they have no trouble at all in these kind of environments. So see, we're going along pretty good here. Traction's not too bad. Sometimes, see, when I get into the thick stuff, I can spin the wheel and, you know, not a whole lot changes. So you have to keep that in mind, that all of your reaction times are going to be delayed. You want to start turning into a corner before you get there, when you have very slow traction. But really, if you're careful and you keep in mind the tricks to driving in conditions like this, you can really go anywhere, regardless of how bad the weather is. See, we're sliding a little bit. Another thing you want to consider is when you're in a slide, don't brake. Because if you brake, you'll lose control. It'll cause your tires to lock up. See, I'm braking right now, and I don't have hardly any control at all. You want to keep on the throttle, keep it controlled to maneuver around corners or obstacles. And although your tires do kind of act a little bit like rudders, even when you're braking, it's still, driving and stuff like this is closer to driving a boat than driving a car. See, like right now, I got the wheel all the way turned, and it took me a good 10 feet before we actually started turning. Ooh, looks like this might be the end of the line. So, you saw a little bit about how to do some ice driving. Remember, the key pointers are: don't jerk the wheel, slow and controlled, don't jerk the throttle, don't jerk the brake, and if you do start sliding, keep your wheels pointed the direction you want to go, even if your car is off to the side sliding. When you want to brake, slowly ease into it. Remember, it's going to take like 4 times the distance to come to a complete stop. So don't just hammer on the brakes, slowly glide into a stop. And use chains. If you have 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, use that. That'll be beneficial. And just be safe out there. You know, if weather's bad, try not to go out, but if you have to, remember these tricks.
Hey there, folks, and thanks for watching.
Hopefully some of the skills you learned today you'll be able to use if you ever find yourself in a real-life survival situation.
We use these skills on a daily basis to help people like you in danger. So, the only way you can learn how to do it and maintain those skills properly is to get out in the outdoors and use them.
So go out and have some fun.
But remember, from all of us, there's only one thing we want, and that's for you to stay safe.